Caloroga Shark Media.
I love this first story so much that I kept a picture of this guy. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 Good News Stories. Brian has become one of the most effective matchmakers in New York City, except he's matching dogs. Once a week, he heads to the animal care centers of New York City and loads a shelter dog into a backpack labeled Adopt Me and takes the dog out on an adventure. Subway rides, walking around. On a recent outing, the dog was Bertha, a white pup with brown spots who had been found on the streets in October. That's the picture I kept. Inside the subway car, Bertha poked her head out of the backpack, licking Brian nonstop and leaning into strangers for scratches. A few days later, Bertha was adopted. Brian says that's the goal of every outing. So far, he's taken out 11 dogs. 10 were adopted shortly after the videos were posted. The lone exception involved a medical issue that needed to be resolved. Brian writes playful captions for each video. For Bertha, he wrote, Bertha loves kisses, many mentions of kisses, subway rides, hot dogs, specific toys, being held and making friends. Her one dislike, certain stuffed animals. Brian said, it's crazy to me to be able to see a real-world direct impact that you're improving the life of another person and the life of a dog because you took a few hours to go make some content. Fantastic. Scientists may have found a new ally against mosquitoes by turning one of the mosquitoes' natural enemies into a precision-engineered killer. Hope no mosquitoes are listening to this episode. They're not going to like this one. There's a parasitic fungus which attracts insects with a floral scent, but only after it's killed its first victim. Well, some scientists genetically modified the fungus to produce the scent constantly, pumping out the scent around the clock. The compound is safe for humans. It's even used in perfumes, but irresistible to mosquitoes. In a test, the engineered fungus wiped out about half the mosquitoes. Unlike chemical insecticides, which mosquitoes are becoming resistant to, this one has millions of years of evolution behind it, making it harder for mosquitoes to outsmart it. Now, what if they evolve to avoid this chemical? That would mean they'd have to avoid flowers entirely, which they need for food. Wow. Not good news for mosquitoes. A French daredevil who's into bungee jumping earned his second Guinness World Record by jumping at 16 different commercial bungee jumping sites over the course of 8 years. Francois' first record was by bungee jumping 765 times in one day. Wow. That's one jump every 2 minutes. Now, the second record, jumping at 16 different commercial bungee jumping locations over the course of 8 years. Some of the places include Austria's Rupert Herner Bungee Jumping, Canada's Great Canadian Bungee, Nepal's The Last Resort, Switzerland's 007 Bungee Versace, and Zambia's Shearwater Bungee. Francois says, while living my passion, I want to serve a good cause with the motto, give as much as I jump. He used his jumps to raise money for the Catholic charity group Caritas. Here's one out of a movie. A drone dropped steak and crab legs for a prisoner, but the guards at the jail found it first. The meal was dropped into the Lee Correctional Institution prison by a drone. The South Carolina Department of Corrections went on social media. They showed a raw steak still in the grocery store packing, crab legs, and Old Bay with a side plastic baggies of marijuana and a couple cartons of cigarettes. All that was seized, as was the drone. Prison spokesperson said, I'm guessing the inmates who were expecting the package are crabby. And good news if you like golden retrievers and you were in Buenos Aires. Golden retrievers from all across Argentina showed up at the Bosques del Palermo Park and turned the park into a giant living bowl of yellow fluff. Golden retrievers sniffed one another enthusiastically. Some were dressed in soccer jerseys, others in tutus. One wore a Star Wars bandana. Meanwhile, a team of volunteers roamed with the park with clipboards, counting every single golden they could. The tally came in 2,397 golden retrievers, shattering last year's world record of 1685 set in Vancouver. Fausto is the event organizer. He's also a golden retriever influencer, thanks to his dog Ollie. Fausto said this is a historic event. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Have an awesome day.